fresties! Today I figured I should probably enlighten you guys on the publishing process that I went through to self-publish my book and just give a little insight into how much money I spent, how much money I made or did not make, and what things I did not decide to spend money on. If you're new here, this is my book. It's called How to Save Your School from Soul-Stealing Demons, but that's not what this video is about, so I'm not even gonna talk about it, but I will have links in the description if you're interested in it. So anyways, let's just jump right into it, not including the course that I took, which is an amazing course by Sarah Cannon that teaches you everything you need to know about self-publishing. I'm not an affiliate, but I probably should be because I'm going to link it in the description because I 1000% recommend it. Like, it was worth every penny. Also not including the book Newsletter Ninja by, I forget the author's name, not including the price of that either. Excluding those two things, which are definitely not necessary, but again, I would wholeheartedly recommend. I spent a total of $269 self-publishing. Now, when I first was looking into publishing many years ago, and I was looking at YouTube videos all about how much people spent to self-publish, the numbers were in the thousands and I was scared. I was very scared. Including the course in that book, it is probably somewhere more around the 500 range, but those things aren't things that were totally necessary. Although honestly, the course kinda, I would say maybe that was totally necessary for me because I need help. I need a hand to hold, I need some direction. And you can find a lot of the advice and the steps that are recommended to take through Reddit and other things, but this is a course that, you know, really takes you through it in order, step by step. I really sound like I'm shilling it out, but again, just a personal thing that I really recommend. But yeah, $269 excluding that and the Newsletter Ninja book. And what I spent that on, the most expensive thing of this group is Atticus. Atticus is a program that you can use to format your books. I do not have a Mac computer, so I believe it's called Vellum. I think that's the name of it, was off the table for me. And the free options just weren't giving what I wanted them to give, so I did decide to go ahead and splurge and spend on Atticus, and no regrets there. Very easy to use, straightforward. They have a lot of tutorials if you need help with stuff, and I found it just a very pleasant experience. So yeah, $147, which is a really random number. That is a program that I would recommend. Now, obviously, again, if you're not looking to spend money on publishing or you want to put the money somewhere else, there are free options out there for formatting a book. Or if you don't want to do it yourself, you can pay somebody else to do it. But this was what I felt fit right for me, and I enjoyed it. So that was money that I would say was well spent. Now, if I was not going into self-publishing with the intention of making some kind of a career out of it, this is where I would have stopped. And I will talk more about it at the end of all this information, where looking back on it now, I could have stopped here because I don't think I'm going to move forward with it from a career perspective. The short version, it's just not for me. Long version, to be told. But this is not where I stopped, so I did spend on 3 more things, because if you want to turn your self-publishing into a career, it is very heavily recommended that you have a newsletter. So that way, you know, you're not communicating just through social media. It's not scattered all over the place. People have one thing that they can get your news through, and you can easily communicate with people, send a message, and it goes to everybody. Whereas, you know, some people might follow you on Instagram or Facebook. Some people have no social media and they're not going to be able to follow you on anything, and they'll never know when you release a new book unless they're going to check your Amazon page or something. So I decided to set up a newsletter, and I actually started mine with MailerLite, which is free up to 1,000 subscribers, so that did not cost me anything. Did not spend any money there. Where I did need to spend money was for a custom domain. I got 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢𝘭𝘴.com through Namecheap, and they also offer a mailbox for you so you can receive the emails with your, you know, custom domain email address. Honestly, I really did not like setting up any of this stuff. The positive thing about it is that you only have to do it once and then just, you know, probably renew the subscription every year. But for me personally, as somebody who is not at all techie or anything like that, it was a hassle. It was a struggle. Through Namecheap, getting the domain 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢𝘭𝘴.com and the personal mailbox was $22. So not bad. And not only do you need a custom domain email address for your newsletter in order to make it not like just show up as spam, but you also need to have an address attached to your newsletter for like legal reasons or something. I don't know. You have to have it. And obviously you're probably not going to want to put your home address on there. If you have like a PO box or something, that'll work. I don't have one. If you have like an office that you own or something, I don't have that. So I went through the route of getting a, what is it called? A virtual address. That's the thing that I decided to do. I could have done a PO box, but I think it was more expensive than getting the virtual address, and this way just seemed easier. So I did that. That was $100. I did this through post scan mail. That was the cheapest option that I could find. I never had any issues with it. I was like supposed to get the address notarized, but I don't even use it anymore because, like I said, I kind of went back on all this stuff, and that would have cost like an extra $20 or something like that, I think. So there is that to consider, but I didn't do that. And I think you only have to do that if you like actually want to receive mail at that address, which I never intended to happen anyways. So but yeah, that is where I spent my $269. Things I did not spend money on that could rack up a very high cost very quickly, and I'm glad looking back on it that I did not decide to spend money on these things, because I'm not taking it as seriously as I thought I was going to take it. An editor. I did not pay for any editing on my book. I did it all myself. I think generally I have a pretty good grasp on things. I already do know that there is one mistake in here. It's a misplaced comma, but it is in a dialogue, so I wasn't that upset about it when I noticed it. I was like, okay, it's whatever. It changes the way that he says it a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. Again, formatting the book, I did that myself through Atticus, so technically I did pay for it, but this is something that you pay for once and then you can use it for all your books, so it seemed like the more economically friendly option to me. And lastly, cover art, I did not spend any money on, and I'm very proud of that fact. I made the cover all myself. Okay, don't focus on me, focus on the book. The image in the back is royalty free. The fonts are all royalty free, which I was worried I would not be able to find any good fonts that were royalty free. It was not that hard. There are a lot of websites out there that compile them, and yeah, it was pretty easy actually. And yeah, I just used the rest of that image on the back cover and the spine as well, so nothing really to worry about there. And what else? Oh yeah, the characters, I drew those myself, so didn't have to worry about that. And all the editing was done with my copy of Photoshop, which you could say that that is like money that needs to be added on, but I'm not, so you can fill in that blank for yourself if you catch my drift. Procreate is only like $11 or something, and that's what I used to draw my characters. I did not buy it specifically for this purpose. Neither did I obtain Photoshop specifically for this purpose. Those are things I have had for a very long time and used for other things, so I wouldn't count them as costs to this because they're things I already had. But if you don't have either of those things and you would go about creating your own cover and you would need to get them, then yeah, that obviously would be a cost. And if you do want a cover for your book, prices range so much that I honestly couldn't even say like the difference that this would make to my total, because you can get a cover for like $20 on Fiverr, or you can get a cover for over $500. I also did not spend any money on advertising, which is something that I thought I was going to spend money on. This is where I stopped talking about like the price of everything. So if you're not interested in my personal journey with self-publishing, finding out that it's not for me in quite the way I imagined, then no harm clicking off the video. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I hope I gave you some insight into how the publishing process does not have to be as expensive as some out there make it seem. Self-publishing is a very personal thing, and you can really go about it in many different ways. And if you're not looking to do it from a standpoint of building a career and you just want to do it for having a physical copy of your book, even if it's not for a physical copy and it's just for an EPUB, and you're like, I shouldn't even say just for an EPUB, like it's still a big deal. But you know, if you want people to be able to have it, definitely recommend going through the process. And if you're just going at it from a casual standpoint, it's really not that difficult and it's really not that expensive. So yeah, anyways, advertising. That is something that I did expect to spend money on, that I ended up not going through with. It could change in the future, but I don't think it will, because again, I have gone back and I don't have my newsletter running up anymore, which I should probably like change the back of my book where it says I have one. But I don't know, it just basically, I have this platform on YouTube, right? And I have my platform on Wattpad. And I know that neither of these platforms are exceptionally big. You know, I've only just recently hit 5,000 subscribers on here, and Wattpad I don't actually know how many followers I have on there, but it's not like I have a book with 1 million reads or something like that. But I did think that I was starting off launching from a semi-decent platform. Like I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get like 500 sales off the bat or anything, obviously, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Apart from friends and family, I got 1 sale. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I don't know. Was I disappointed? Yeah. It was a bit of a reality check into how difficult it really is to make a sale, because again, it's not like I was thinking that I would have like smashing success or anything, but I did think, hey, out of 5,000 people, or out of the maybe like 500,000 readers that I've accumulated on Wattpad, like there's gotta be a couple purchases in there, and there just wasn't. And if it's that hard to make sales when you have a little bit of a platform, it's just too competitive of a market for me. Like, I don't know, that kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. Like, I already thought it was going to be hard, but this is even harder than I thought it was going to be. And I think I need to just go at it from a passionate standpoint, and not a, hey, I'm going to do this for a living type of standpoint. It is what it is. I honestly haven't had super passion for writing in like many years now, I'll be honest. Is it something I still enjoy? Yes, and I do it for myself personally, for self-tripping reasons, like all the time. For like sitting down, plotting a whole book, writing a whole book, I mean, that's always going to be a process that is really special to me. It is something that I can't imagine ever completely abandoning. And I mean, this story, okay, my battery's running low, but I do still have 2 other books planned for this, and I'm like, I just can't imagine like abandoning that completely. And I have like 6 other books that I've written where I'm like, it seems like a waste to not edit these and publish them, but oh my gosh, there's a lot of editing that needs to be done to those. I tried to start on one of them and I had to move on to a different one, and still I was like, wow, this is bad. I took a break from young adult for writing romance, and then I didn't realize how long the break had been and how much my writing had improved. And going back to that old young adult stuff is just like, wow, she needs help. But yeah, so I'm not stopping publishing, but it's just, I'm going at it from a very different angle than I expected, and I've sort of moved on in terms of like the idea that I will do it for a living or to make money. It's more just like, hey, I want to do it because it's something that I want to do, and it makes me happy and feel good and feel proud to have this physical book in my hands and be like, oh my gosh, like I made this. So anyways, battery's about to die. Also, before I go, I will be making fragrance videos on this channel, because the channel, I mean, it's always been a mix of different things. It's always been a bit of a hodgepodge, and fragrance is a big passion of mine, so that's coming to the channel now. Thanks for your understanding. All right, again, I hope this video was helpful, insightful. Thanks for listening, and yeah, I hope I will see you in my September perfume tray video, because I'm doing those now. All right, bye.